Hey everybody, back again with another pickup video. This one's going to be big because first off, Wentzville, Missouri, where I live, had the citywide yard sale. I did okay on that. I did find some stuff. I found a fantastic deal, which I'll talk a little bit about, although I traded some of it off already. And then the St. Louis Retro Gamers had another meetup, had it at my place this time, so there's a ton of people over. Got to meet some guys I hadn't met before, a lot of guys I had met before, but did a lot of buying and trading there. Everybody did. We had a great time. So if you're in St. Louis area and you haven't joined up on St. Louis Retro Gamers, definitely do. Otherwise, I don't know how to help you if you don't want to join up, because we're a pretty good group, have a lot of fun, do some good trades. But I'm not going to talk too much about that. I'm going to go ahead and go into my finds. What I got first, I'll start off with the stuff I found at the Wentzville Citywide Yard Sale. First off, I found, I was driving around and I guess it was close to 10 o'clock, so a lot of yard sales have been picked over, and I hit one in kind of downtown Wentzville area across from the Catholic Church in that area, and I looked in a box and there was a bunch of N64 games, like 6 games, so I looked in there and I was like, hey, grabbed them, all 6 of them. Good titles, very good titles. I was like, how much you want for these? And the lady's like, $1. I'm like, oh, $1 each, that's cool. And she goes, no, $1 for all of them. And I pretty much almost fainted on the spot. This is the first one I saw. Super Smash Brothers. So, yeah. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. Pretty good label. I'm actually going to sell this one for very cheap to a buddy from St. Louis Retro Gamers. He's got it. He wanted it, so I'm going to sell it to him fairly cheap. Obviously going to make way more than my money back. And then it also had GoldenEye 007 in there, which is, not a super expensive game, but, some people need that. That one's for trade. I already had that one, too. I actually had every one of the games, but, I like to pick them up when I find them cheap like that, so, I can give them to other people for cheap and not have some reseller who's just out to make money selling them off. But other than that, what I've already traded off is I got a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Perfect Dark, Mario Kart 64, and Mario 64 also on that line. So for $1, I got all 6 of those games, which was a fantastic deal. You just don't run across those deals like that, but for $1. And also at that yard sale, I found, after I found the N64 games, I was looking through some CDs, and I found this in the CDs, and she wanted $1 for it too. I had 95 cents in my pocket, so I paid 95 cents for Jammer Lammy, which is the sequel to Parappa the Rapper. I like PlayStation stuff. I collect quite a bit of it. You'll see a lot more in this video. But I've actually never played this one. Parappa was a pretty darn fun game, so I figured I'd have to check this one out. Parappa was actually a very frustrating game too, so I assume this will be too. Alright, then for some other yard sale stuff, went to one sale, dug in a box with a bunch of random stuff in it, and found Inuyasha, what is it? A Feudal Fairy Tale in the box. I paid $0.25 for that. The guy didn't even know what it was, to be honest. He's like, oh, what is it? What is it? And I was like, Inuyasha's like a Japanese anime. I think this was on Cartoon Network for a while. I never really watched it, but the anime games are pretty popular, so I figured I'd go ahead and pick it up. Road Rash 3D. I found that one at another yard sale. I honestly don't remember how much I paid for it. I think I might have paid $1 for it at most, but it was fairly cheap, maybe 50 cents. Then I went to my local church. They were having like a little sale a couple weeks ago, and I picked up this for 50 cents, Jeremy McGrath's Supercross for GameCube. So I'm always going to, 50 cents, I'll buy any game, pretty much any game. Another yard sale I hit, had some newer games. So I picked up the PS3 Simpsons game, which is actually not a bad game. If you're into Simpsons, it's a pretty decent game. $1. I went to another yard sale. There was a quarter box, and I picked up a couple. I think I picked up a PlayStation 2 AV cable, an HDMI cable, and then Skate 3 for Xbox 360 for $1. That was $0.25. Those 2 cables were $0.25 piece, so paid $0.25 for Skate 3. This was like one of the first yard sales I hit. I got Sonic Heroes Player's Choice for GameCube, which I've never really played, but I think I paid $2 for that, so I'll pay $2 for that. And then Bionicle Heroes, which I also paid $2 for. And lastly, I picked up Star Wars Battlefront Red Label PlayStation 2 for $2. That was at another yard sale. And that actually does it for the yard sale. Nope, it doesn't. I'm lying. And then my last thing I found, last two things I found at a yard sale. Duke Nukem 3D, big box. This actually doesn't have it has a game jewel case in it with the little game cover, but it's missing the game. But you know, the box is kind of what I was after anyway. But the surprising thing is when I opened it, and I don't think it came this way, but so yeah, so there's the jewel case, and then it has Duke 3D Strategies and Secrets. So I don't think it came with that, but it's kind of cool. Maybe it did. I don't know. But it looks like this was like 20 bucks. So I don't think it came with it, but it was in the box. No other manuals or anything, but you know, kind of cool. Kind of cool to kind of find something like that. So yeah, that was $2. And then lastly, I think for 50 cents, I picked up a little Game Boy bag, missing the insert. But, you know, 50 cents. I'm not going to pass up something that has a Nintendo branding on it. Alright, so that's it for the yard sales, I believe. I may run across something else that I got at yard sales. So let's get to the stuff from the St. Louis Retro Gamers meetup. I kind of went all out at the meetup. I spent a lot of money, traded off a lot of stuff. First thing I'll go to is green N64. As you can see, it's missing the chip, or I can't remember what it's called right now. And it's basically just the 64, nothing else, just no cables or anything. I've got cables, no big deal. But picked that up fairly cheap, not a bad price. It does work. It's in pretty decent shape. It's a little dirty, but overall it's pretty clean. But yeah, so I was happy to get that. It goes nicely with my orange one that I've got. And I traded off a watermelon a while back. You guys may have seen that in one of my videos. I think it was in a video. So yeah, got the 64. Then for free, got a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time manual. Chris Limp gave me this. This is from Charlie Ratcliffe. I bought that off him. I got a couple more things from him too. But Chris Limp gave me this manual for free because he said he didn't want it because it had some damage to it, so he just gave it to me. I figured I'd take it. I can put it with my copy of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And some more stuff I got from Chris Limp for 20 bucks. Got a big stack of PlayStation games, which is great. Darkstone, which I actually already have, so I'm going to put that up for trade. Good deal for anybody. Guilty Gear, which is awesome. Bloody Roar, another one that's pretty awesome. Tekken 3, fantastic. Omega Boost. Warriors of Might and Magic. Jackie Chan Stuntmaster, which is a hilariously bad game. Blade, obviously probably not a very good game, licensed title. Kinsei Sacred Fist. Evil Zone. And Cardinal Sin. And I did get one more, which I traded off for pretty low price to Matthew Gurley in the St. Louis Retro Gamers group. He had picked up Dissidia Final Fantasy for me to add to my Final Fantasy collection, so I traded him Legend of Legaia just to pay him back for this. I wasn't looking to get a whole lot out of it. I know it's probably worth significantly more than this is worth, but you know, I like to help my my buddies out in the group, and I think everybody likes to help everybody else out in that group. So Dissidia from Matthew Gurley, really appreciate that, and I really appreciate Chris Limp giving me those PlayStation titles for such a great price. Alright, so next, this was from Chris Fallon. He kind of set up his, he's at the Wentzville Flea Market a lot, so he kind of set up his Wentzville Flea Market setup in my garage so people could buy stuff from him. So, you know, to kind of pay me back for that, he gave me a couple of things because he made a good amount of money. So first off, he gave me Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins box. I've already got the game. There's no inserts or manual. It's just the box, but you know, I'll throw the game in there, kind of make it look better on my shelf. So he gave me that. And then the Flintstones Rescue of Dino and Hoppy. Yeah, it's not the super expensive one, but I didn't have it, so it'll look nice going in the collection. Next, I got Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. I can't remember who this was from. I think this might have been Chris Limp too. Somebody pointed out I was looking for some Mortal Kombat games. This one I didn't have. This is like number 1 on my Mortal Kombat want list. So I got that. I think that was Chris Limp's possibly. If I'm wrong, tag it in the comments. Let me know if I was wrong about that. So I got that. Very much excited to get that. And then from Joe Braun, I traded a Bubsy game, Final Fantasy War of the Lions PSP Red Label, and I paid him a little cash for Conquer Live and Reloaded, which I didn't have. Not complete, but you know, the disc is in good shape. The outside's in good shape. I'm excited to get that, kind of complete the Conquer collection, which is the 64 Conquer and this Conquer, obviously. And I guess they made a Game Boy game, but that one is completely different than the rest of them. Alright, now on to some more NES stuff. Me and Corey Blanton, who was here, had worked out a trade a while back. He wanted a copy of Tetris. He had a copy of Back to the Future, so we did that trade straight up. So he's got a Tetris now. I got a Back to the Future. Appreciate that. Then, I believe James Lee Schoenmeyer was here. And I looked through his box once, bought one thing, then I looked through his box again and bought a whole lot more. I should have just stopped there. I would have saved some money, but I also wouldn't have got some pretty awesome games. So Super C's the first one I bought. Paid a decent price for it. It's got the manual, so you know, it's really good shape. Very good game. Obviously the sequel to Contra, which I also bought. Because I didn't have it, and I was so embarrassed not to have Contra. This one also has the manual. So now I've got Contra and Super C in my collection finally. I've been trying to get them for a long time, and I finally did. And then other than that, from James, he gave me Hoops for free because he had like 37 copies of it, and good lord, who really needs that many copies of anything? Rocky and Bullwinkle, which I paid a pretty decent price for. Kung Fu, which embarrassingly was not in my collection already because I used to love this game. And Dragon Spirit, which was also not in my collection. I've never played it, but look at that art. It's awesome. So I got that one. And then one more, I believe I got from James. A few more actually. I got Mickey Mania. He threw that in basically for free when I bought Super C. So I got that. And then he doesn't collect PlayStation 2 like I do, as you can see. I changed my background here. It used to be my NES games. I got a new shelf for those. This is all my PlayStation 2 stuff, and you might be able to see some Xbox stuff. And then obviously my PlayStation 1 collection and Dreamcast and things like that's here too. But pretty much loaded me up with ATV Off-Road Fury 1, 2, and 3. I don't really care for these games, but PlayStation 2 going in the collection. They're all complete, which is nice. I like complete. So I got those. Then Bob Friedel came over, and I had committed to buy this a while back, and I totally forgot. He handed it to me. I was like, oh, was I buying that? But I really did want this one. Super Castlevania 4. Very happy to have it. I've never played it, which I know shocked Matthew Gurley when he was here because he's a huge Castlevania guy, but now I've got all 3 NES Castlevanias and the 4th on the Super NES, so happy to have it. Paid a really good price for that. You know, I don't mind paying good money for good games, and that was a good price. Next, I guess I did stop at the flea market that morning, the morning before the meetup, and I got Stunt Race FX for $2 at the flea market. That was the only thing I found at the flea market. Then, I guess Paige from the St. Louis Retro Gamers group came, and he brought this Super Paper Mario manual with him, and my son was looking at it on the couch, so I was like, well, I better just buy it. So I paid $5 for that. My son likes it. He was looking at it. I figured I better buy it before I have to buy it after he tears it up, but he didn't actually tear it up, so happy to have that. I actually have the game, so that's kind of going to go along with the game. And then more from Charlie Ratcliffe. I actually traded him some N64 games for this sweet decorated PS2 Slim with a controller. Doesn't have the power AV cable, but I got extras of those. Obviously I bought one at a yard sale. I think I mentioned that earlier. Then I got True Crime New York City. I believe this is also from Chris Limp. $1 for that. Yeah, this is kind of just, this is a crappy game, but $1. I'm going to pay $1. Not a big deal. And then Joe Braun also bought a lot of stuff, I think, from Chris Limp. And Wing Commander 3. This is sealed. Never opened. Includes the player guide. Very cool. I like these big box PC stuff. I think I was talking to Joe about that, and so he bought this, and he's like, you know what, you can just have this. So he gave it to me. It's got the benefit of having people over when they want to give, if they maybe don't want something, and you're providing them a house to hang out in. Maybe they'll give you something for free. So I appreciate that, Joe. And I'm going to put this with my collection of PC stuff, which is about 3 or 4 games right now. But you know, I do like the big box PC stuff, so it's going to go with my Duke 3D and then my Neuromancer that some of you guys may have seen a while back, which is a very cool, complete PC game that I got at Goodwill. Next, I traded off to Ben Griswold a South Park for the N64, and he was looking to get rid of this Dreamcast. So now I have 2 Dreamcasts. It's a VMU and a blue controller, which I really like the blue controller, so I was very happy to get it. No cables, but I've obviously got a Dreamcast, so if I need cables, I've got them. Actually, never mind. He gave me the cables too. I forgot they're sitting over there. So scratch that. He traded me a complete Dreamcast. I think I'm running out of stuff here. It's quicker than I thought. And then I actually went to V-Stock on a trip because I heard they had some Final Fantasy strategy guides. Didn't find them, but I did find these strategy guides, so I picked them up. Resident Evil Director's Cut strategy guide. Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood, probably the best Sonic game that's come out in 10 years, possibly. And the Bouncer strategy guide. I think I paid $10 total for all 3 of those. Bouncer's the only game I don't actually have that I bought the strategy guide for, but it's a Square game. Square Soft, actually, which is kind of cool. I like to see Square Soft on there as opposed to Square Enix before the merger. So yeah, so that's what I got. As you can tell, I got a lot. I spent a good amount of money on this stuff, but nothing like I would have spent in retail. Some stuff I traded for, some stuff I bought, but had a good time at the meetup. I think everybody did pretty much have a good time. I appreciated everybody that came, and hope to see you next time at one. If you didn't make it this time, if you're in the St. Louis Retro Gamers group or you need to join up. Thanks for watching.